Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Time has been a window, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different because a lot of people have been asking me about my opinion of the Major, and of course, my results on the Pick'em Challenge. So I figured we'd go through it. So let's go through my Pick'em Challenge results, and I'll explain my thoughts on the Major. Alright guys, so first round of it, we had the Challengers stage, and as you can see, these were the teams: NRG, Renegades, Vitality, Avangar, ENCE, Ninjas in Pajamas, G2 Esports, Cloud9, Windstrike Team, Tyloo, Vici, I think that's how they pronounce it, Furia, Fnatic, Vega, and Team Spirit and Greyhound Gaming. Alright, so this round was a little bit difficult for me to actually choose the teams because I didn't know that much about a lot of them. I don't follow it that closely, so I pretty much just went and chose the top rated teams for the bottom, with a couple exceptions, one of which being Renegade and Tyloo, because honestly, mad respect for Attacker. He's a really good entry, and I feel like they didn't use him to the best of his ability here. I think they could have made it farther. But that being said, I chose Fnatic as my 3-0 team, who severely disappointed me. And, you know, I had to go with the NIP because, what can I say, NIP's been around forever, and they'll always be legends to me, so they better make it to the legend stage, right? As for the team, I thought wouldn't do much, so I figured it would probably be Vici because, honestly, I didn't know much about them, haven't heard much about them, and didn't think they'd perform as well as they did. Obviously, they surprised me, and they did not go 0-3. Okay, so here we are on the legend stage, and I'm a lot more familiar with the teams here. Most people are familiar with the top 10 teams in the game, and of course, going through the prior matches kind of made me more familiar with the teams that did qualify to this round. So the teams here are Astralis, Team Liquid, Na'Vi, MIBR, Renegades, FaZe Clan, ENCE, Ninjas in Pajamas, Cloud9, Vitality, Avangar, Complexity Gaming, G2 Esports, Hellraisers, Big, and NRG. Now, as you can see, my pick to go 3-0 was Liquid, and I think two teams went 3-0. Didn't Astralis also go 3-0? I believe they did. So, I mean, you had a pretty good chance of getting it if you figured one of those two teams, considering those were the number 1 and 2 seed heading into this tournament. As for the team I expected to go 0-3, I thought Complexity, just because I figured like they didn't have enough experience in this situation, and they haven't really played against these international teams enough and done well for me to think that they really had much of a chance, and they really surprised me. They performed a lot better than I thought they would. So let's go through this from left to right. We got Cloud9. They did really well in the last Challenger stage, and even though they didn't go 3-0, they are still a pretty solid team with the players that they picked up. They've become an international team, and they've had pretty decent results lately, so I figured that they probably would make it through. Of course, they didn't quite make it, and that kind of surprised me. They didn't play as well as they did, and it didn't surprise me that afterwards, considering their results here, that they ended up dropping someone and picking up someone else. Next up, we have Astralis, and yeah, this is going to be one of those teams that's going to go 3-0, and yeah, I mean, it's an automatic pick. We know that they're going to probably be one of the top 3 teams in this tournament. Next up, I chose Big because I was looking for a good dark horse for this tournament, and Big has surprised me in the past and done well at a major previously, so I figured maybe it was their time to shine again, and of course I was majorly wrong. So next up, I chose NIP because they have been doing really well this year with their current lineup. Even since the end of last year, they've been doing really well, definitely on the upswing of things, and of course NIP has that great legacy, and you can just never count them out. Not really. Not with a team that has Forest and Get Right on it. Even though they're getting older, they still have it. Moving on, we have FaZe, the super team from a couple years ago. And yes, I know that they've been dropping down in rank. I really thought they'd still make it into the top 4. And I was a little bit disappointed to see how they didn't quite make it as far as I thought they would this year. But that was also partially due to who they ended up playing against in the next round. Moving on, we got Na'Vi. The team was simple and flamey on it, and yeah, I'd say that they are top 3, so there is no way that I wasn't going to pick them this round. Alright, so next up we have MIBR, and yeah, I know last year they kind of fell off the face of the earth with their new pickups of Stewie2K and Tarek, right after Tarek and Stewie2K had just won a major with Cloud9. I'm not sure exactly why those trades happened, but they did, and it didn't work out for them, so they've gone back to their roots, and they are getting strong again. While I don't think that they're a top 4 team, I do think that they're quite solid, and I was not surprised at all to see them pass this next round. Moving on to the championship stage. Dun dun dun. I know. Alright, so first up we have Astralis, Ninjas in Pajamas, MIBR, Renegades, Team Liquid, ENCE, Na'Vi, and FaZe Clan. Now you can obviously see how I chose everything to work out. I'll go through my thoughts on why I chose who I chose. First up we have Astralis versus NIP. I love NIP, but Astralis is on another level right now. They are the #1 team in the world, and in my opinion there is only one team that can knock them off that platform, and that would be Liquid. But obviously Liquid never actually got a chance to try to knock them off that pedestal and take that #1 spot. So next up we have MIBR versus Renegades, and while I was saying that MIBR is probably a top 6 team, honestly Renegades was looking incredibly good up until this point, so I really thought that they might be able to pull something out as the surprise team of the event. So speaking of the surprise of the event, we have Team Liquid versus ENCE. Now, after I had chosen these picks, I got a phone call from Fawn before the matches started a couple days before, and he said that he was looking through demos, and it looked like some people from ENCE were cheating from time to time. He was really thinking that someone was using some kind of subtle cheat to try to win some of these matches, and when I told him that I think Team Liquid's going to absolutely destroy him, he said that I'm going to be surprised, and that they'll probably win the matches against Liquid and of course Na'Vi a little bit later, but then lose to Astralis because on the big stage they're not going to be able to, cheat their asses off. That is the conversation we had, and while I haven't actually gone through the demos and determined if anyone on ENCE was using any kind of subtle unfair advantage or anything like that, which would be incredibly hard to do at a major without getting caught, you'd think. So I'm not saying that they cheated by any means, but I'm just saying it was an interesting conversation to have with Fawn, and then for this to actually play out, it made me go, maybe he was on to something. Either way, moving down to Na'Vi versus FaZe. Like I said, Na'Vi right now is a top 3 team, FaZe is a top 4 team, and Na'Vi's going to win this. Bam. FaZe is just not quite what they used to be. I feel like people are countering them too well, and there's just something that they really are lacking in their game. Okay, so next up we have Astralis versus MIBR. Obviously Renegades was eliminated by MIBR. So right now Astralis is the team to beat, and they're the team you compare every other team to. They're tactically sound. They have amazing skill and a top sniper with device. I mean, they have everything they need to be a top team, and none of them are overly aggressive. Well, I would like to say stupidly aggressive, which is, one of the biggest points about Astralis is that they play so uniformed and so controlled. So at this point in the video, my audio got completely corrupted, so I'm just going to have to dub over it. I know a lot of people want me to call ENCE ENCE, but I'm just going to call them ENCE, just like I call it an AWP and not an OP. What can I say? I guess it's just like spelling stuff out or something. So like I said before, once I saw ENCE beat Team Liquid, I was not surprised at all to see them beat Na'Vi. Though unlike when they played against Liquid and beat them in 2 maps and had an incredible comeback on that second map, against Na'Vi, they actually lost the second map horribly. This put them into a 3rd map where Na'Vi was actually up, and they had to do another incredible comeback to win the game. In fact, I actually think that this game would have been won if Simple could have just finished off that one clutch. You know the one I'm talking about. But since they didn't, ENCE found themselves against Astralis in the grand finals. And as I mentioned earlier, I think the only team that had a chance of taking down Astralis would have been Team Liquid, and they were already taken down by ENCE. And Fawn kept telling me it wouldn't be close because, like I said, he believed that somebody on ENCE might have been using some unfair advantage, and of course they wouldn't be able to do that on the final stage. So the final scores were 16-11 and 16-4. But that doesn't necessarily mean ENCE cheated. Honestly, Astralis is a very, very strong team, and it would be hard for anyone to do well against them. More than anything, the only reason I even bring up the potential cheating is because Fawn said it and everything played out exactly as he predicted. Keep in mind, the last big cheater caught at a LAN tournament was at a qualifier, which is far smaller and probably easier to cheat at than a major. So if anyone was cheating on ENCE, they'd have to be using something far subtler and far more sophisticated. So yeah, I did spend the $10 just to do the brackets and see if I could win anything from the souvenir crates. And here's what I got out of them. I'm going to have to say that souvenir crates are definitely 100% not worth it. Though I did find it fitting that I got an AUG skin because, let's be honest, the AUG dominated this tournament. I remember when the price drop happened and telling people that now that there was no punishment for buying the AUG, people would be buying it all the time. Of course, since the idea was still new and untested, most people didn't believe me. At the end of the day, Counter-Strike is a game of economy and you want the best price for performance. And only having a $50 difference is not going to stop you from getting your utility, so there is absolutely no reason not to go with the AUG. After all, for only 50 bucks, you get an extreme increase in accuracy. And while I know some people are going to hate me for this, I kind of like it this way. Because buying AUGs over M4s really helps to show off the dexterity of the top aimers out there. But not all is good, because I feel like the terrorists are completely outmatched against the AUG. AKs and the SG-553 just don't seem to be cutting it. This made the majority of matches very CT-sided. So I am curious to see if Valve does anything about this, either increasing the price of the AUG to balance things out, or maybe just buffing the SG-553. Overall, it was a pretty fun tournament with some unexpected results, and I can't wait to see the next major. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you didn't, don't worry, I'll be going back to my regularly scheduled content tomorrow. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, whether it was about the overusage of the AUG, other aspects of the tournament, or even ENCE potentially cheating in earlier matches. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.